Chapter 4, Doran and the West Road. A few days ago, Lord Doran posted a bulletin in the tavern. It read as follows. A little over a day's travel to the west, in the swamplands, lies a moat house in ruins. Lord Doran desires for a brave party of adventurers to travel there to explore it and determine if it's salvageable. If it is, he desires that it be cleared out of whatever probably lives there, and that your reward is whatever treasures you find. If you succeed at this, and you believe the moat house is salvageable, you are to alert the sergeant of the guard of your successful adventures there. If your claims that it's salvageable check out, Lord Doran will pay your adventuring party 30 silver pieces per person as payment for a job well done. Dalma led the party down the ladder and out of their camp. Dalma. Where am I escorting you? Latia. Just you? No one else? Dalma. There's no need for anyone else. To a road or back to the trail? Was Dalma willing to talk with them? Latia wondered to herself, but then remembered the question that she forgot to ask last night. Latia. Dalma, I meant to ask you something last night. That is, we're all wondering... I'm sorry. It's just we want so badly to be friends with you, with all of you. Okay. Latia took a breath. Dalma, what is it you want to ask me? Something about our camp, how it works? Latia, well, yeah, we detected magic everywhere, so yes, we're curious how it works. Hope that was okay for us to do. We were just switching spells for today, but that wasn't my question. Well, it is, but what we're all wondering is, why do you live so high up in the woods? Is it the goblins? Dalma actually smiled, which Latia was not expecting. Dalma, about our camp. Yes, it was built by a combination of our skills and with our magic. We use druidic magic. Latia, you use druidic magic? I'm a druid too. That's really... Latia was about to say interesting, as she was hoping she may have finally found a common bond and a connection between them. But Dalma interrupted her. Dalma, our druidic magic is not like yours. Ours is different. Ours is better. Latia, oh, I see. Well, I'm sure it is, seeing what our detect magic spell detected. Dalma, yes, it is quite different. As I said, we are truly one with the forest, in a way that you can't understand, so I won't try to explain it to you, other than what I just said. But to answer your other question, it's not the goblins, it's the hill giants. We used to live much closer to the ground, but after the hill giant invasion a decade ago, we decided to dwell where they will never see us, in case they ever come into our woods again. It's also the one good reason to have Doran and his companions living in our woods. Nightwind, now this I understand. Nothing like having a powerful party of adventurers to protect you from hill giants. Dalma ignored Nightwind's words. Dalma, here's the trail. Good travels to you all. May all your adventures be thrilling. Again, the party was surprised at her kind words. Nightwind, may our adventures be thrilling? Well, thank you. May yours be thrilling too. Dalma, I am not an adventurer, but that is one greeting that we often say to adventurers when they encounter us, right after we make them leave our forest. Latia, I see. Well, I like it. And yes, thank you. May your days all be thrilling. Latia so badly wanted to be friends with Dalma, but she wasn't having it, and just turned around and walked away. Latia started to wave and was going to say bye, but thought better of it. Latia, God, I am so frustrated right now. She is such an amazing looking and interesting creature, and I so want to get to know her. Lightmane, maybe our paths will cross again. At least we now know more about wood elves than most. The party went back to the shrine, cast comprehend languages, and wrote down the message on the sign, and headed back to Doran. They encountered no creatures on the way back, other than the normal creatures of the forest, which were plentiful. They stopped at the Inn of the Green Dragon to check to see if there were any other bulletins posted, but there weren't. Latia, Jack, you wrote this one down, right? The one about the moat house. Jack, yep. I keep all our important notes in a separate small belt pouch. Shinfia. It says it's a little over a day's travel, so we're not getting there tonight, which means we're camping in the woods tonight, boys and girls. Nightwind. Looking forward to it. Don't worry, I'll keep the first watch. Belfin. It's probably best that two of us keep watch each shift, so I'll keep the first watch too. Nightwind. You don't trust me, do you? He said, with a smile on his face. Belfin. On the contrary, I trust you implicitly, which is why I want to keep watch with you. Nightwind looked a little confused and looked at the others. Nightwind. That was a compliment, right? Phileas. Indeed it was, my good man, which is why he is choosing not to keep the second watch with me. As he said this, he winked at everyone else. Nightwind. Wait a second. What? Oh boy. Okay, the gnome and the hobbit are having fun with the dwarf. You can take your words either way, for if you trust me, you don't need to watch with me, but if you don't, then you do. But if you mean you enjoy my company and therefore trust me, then you do. Phileas. Wait, what? What are you rambling about? Nightwind. I don't really know. I was trying to confuse you. I think it worked. Tenneth. With conversations like this, who needs entertainment? He said, smiling. Let's head out. The swamp awaits us. Jack. So the west road through the forest leads to a swamp and the moat house? I wonder why it's in ruins. Lightmane. My understanding is that something happened there, and it was abandoned long ago, and now Doran is interested in it, having finally heard some stories. I've heard it's in shambles. I've also heard it's a den where creatures lair now. Then there's the swamp itself. Ick. Nightwind. But west into the forest is also where it's said there are goblin lairs in caves. I say we consider going off-road at some point and looking for one. I'm sure wood elves don't hang out where the goblins do. Lightmane. I'm sure they don't either, but they definitely run into each other at times. I think we keep to the road until we come to a swamp. Hopefully the path will lead us right to the moat house. Nightwind. Fine. Then I hope the goblins see us and attack so we can get into a battle. Latia. Fine by me, and you might get your wish. It's only the north, south, and east roads that have traveled on, since they all go out of the forest to other villages. I don't think there's anything west of here. Well, nothing in the forest. Lightmane. I'm told there are villages to the west, beyond the swamplands, and that travelers have come from there, but it seems not very often. Latia. It seems? People have come to Doran from the west? Lightmane. I believe so. There's plenty of land west of here beyond these woods. Shall we head out? Doran was designed in an interesting way. It was like a square inside a circle. The village was separated into 4 sections. Each section had farms and shops. The northeast section is where Doran's castle was. The northwest section was where merchants tended to hang out, along with the Inn of the Sleeping Troll, an establishment that was nice, but not as nice as the Inn of the Green Dragon, which was in the southeast section. Beyond the inn were several nice homes where wealthier families lived, while the southwest section had the Temple of Alana, along with a small cemetery. The 4 main roads in Doran met in the center, which also formed a circle, where people gathered in an open market to sell their wares daily. So in a way, Doran was kind of a circle in a square in a circle. It looked pretty cool when you looked at the map. The party exited the village through the west exit. Walking on the road seemed safer than on the trail, but this was the least traveled road, and the area of the woods where most believed goblins lived. Some said their caves were just a couple miles from the village. Others said they were almost a day's travel, if not further. Now, for the first time, they were all hoping to finally find out. The first couple of miles were quite pleasant and uneventful. The forest was beautiful, with creatures everywhere they looked. Birds, squirrels, rabbits, and more, that all scurried away as they walked by. They kept looking up, wondering if any wood elves were around, but they also kept looking to the left and right, hoping to see a cave somewhere, as they were dying to explore one. Nightwind. If we see a cave, we're going in, right? Shinfia. Of course. Dama said we are free to fight goblins, just not free to walk around in the woods. But going from this road to a cave that we see, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't violate her rule. Latia, agreed. If we see a cave, we'll check it out. If not, we'll keep going, and hopefully run into the moat house. I'm curious how big it is, let alone if anything's there. Nightwind, oh, I'm sure something's there. Anything that lies in ruins in a forest or swamp for decades almost certainly has creatures living in it, in some capacity. Maybe some giant rats or snakes. That would be my guess. Lightmane, giant rats in a swamp? Can giant rats swim? Jack, don't know. Maybe we'll find out tomorrow. How about we focus on today? I think we should... Phileas, shh. I heard something off to the left. Belfin, whispering. Goblins? Phileas, hope so. Lightmane, I don't see anything. Wait, I saw movement. Something is out there and it's close. Jack, Tenneth, can I get that protection spell now? Tenneth cast protection from evil on Jack, since Jack was the weakest and most vulnerable party member. It didn't make him immune. It just helped protect him against anything that's evil, like goblins. Jack, thank you. Tenneth, don't meant out of nowhere an arrow grazed against Tenneth's arm, causing him to cry out in pain. Lightmane saw the goblin and fired an arrow, hitting him and dropping him. 4 goblins pounced out of the woods, while Shinfia heard more coming from behind them. She alerted the party and turned around. Latia joined her. The 4 goblins tried to pounce on Nightwind and Lightmane, but Belfin and Phileas had already hid behind trees and immediately came up behind them and slashed them with their swords, dropping 2 more. One of the goblins, though, attacked Nightwind and hit him with his sword. The dwarf cried out in pain, but swung his axe at his attacker, but the goblin somehow avoided it. The other goblin swung at Lightmane, who dodged it and drew his longsword, dropping his bow to the ground. Belfin and Phileas were each attacked by another goblin that came out of the woods, but they heard them and turned to face them. Meanwhile, 6 more emerged from behind and came at Shinfia and Latia. Latia had no time to cast a spell now, so she pulled her longsword, while Shinfia attacked with her fists. Shinfia hit one of the goblins, but just barely. It swung back and hit her, but also just barely. Jack started casting a spell, as Tenneth moved up next to Shin and swung with his mace, just barely missing the goblin that hit Shin, but now turned to him. Of the 3 goblins on Latia, 2 attacked her, while 1 ran past right at Jack. Lightmane swung his sword and cut the goblin down, dropping him in a pool of blood. Nightwind swung his axe again, and this time it cut right into the goblin's chest. It screamed and then fell. Belfin and Phileas were now each in melee with the goblin. They all engaged and clashed back and forth. Phileas, we could use a little help here. One of the goblins on Latia grazed her across her leg as her sword came down on the other, dropping it as it slashed across its neck. Just as Jack's spell was about to go off, the goblin on him swung his sword, but somehow missed as it grazed off Jack's shoulder. The spell went off. All the goblins around Latia, Shinfia, and Tenneth, and the one on Jack all fell to the ground. Lightmane and Nightwind moved to help Phileas and Belfin, just as the 2 goblins that were attacking them turned to flee, but were cut down quickly by the 4 of them. Jack, thank the gods for a sleep spell. Tenneth, I believe your spell may have been the reason he missed me. If he hits me, that spell probably doesn't go off. Kill them quickly before they awaken. Latia, Jack, wow, that was great. One moment I'm fighting for my life, fearing this wasn't going to be as easy as I thought it would be, and the next moment they're all asleep. She laughed. Tenneth moved to Nightwind and cast his Cure Light Wounds spell on him. Nightwind, I'm fine. Tenneth, if you're wounded worse than the others, this will heal it a little. Nightwind, thanks. Tenneth, you're welcome, my friend. Perhaps we should search their bodies, see if they have any loot? Jack, this one has 7 copper coins. Nothing like free money, huh? Tenneth, nice. Better than nothing, but I'd hardly call that free money. I think we earned it. How many goblins just attacked us? Like 10? Belfin, I count 13, counting the one Lightmane shot over there. I'll go search him. Tenneth, 13. Wow, that's a lot of goblins. Guess they're smart enough to travel in larger groups. Glad we now know we can handle 13 goblins. Lightmane, had Phileas not heard them when he did, this battle could have gone differently. Good thing some of us have superior sight and hearing, eh? Any more coins on them? The total haul was 38 copper pieces. and 4 silver pieces. The party considered this to be a decent amount, but wondered why goblins had money. Jack: why, to go shopping at the goblin store. Why else? That's where all the best crap is sold. Lightmane: ha! Who knows why goblins have coins? Maybe for the same reason we wear gems and rings and other shiny things. Jack: gems and rings and shiny things. That works. As good a theory as any. Maybe we can talk to one sometime and they'll tell us. Nightwind: well, look who's the comedian now, he said with a smile. Latia: I wonder if 38 copper and 4 silver is considered a lot or a little for 13 goblins. Jack: well, I'll try to keep track, and maybe in time we'll have a better idea. Latia: leave it to you, Jack. What would we do without you? Jack: hey, what can I tell you? I like to keep track of stuff. Shall we head out? Tenneth: no, we should rest a little bit, at least 10 to 20 minutes or so. Eat a little food, drink some water. We should consider resting long enough to get our spells back, too. Another encounter like this will be harder, especially without Jack's sleep spell. Jack: I still have Magic Missile. Lightmane: and I also have Sleep memorized, along with Magic Missile. Phileas? Phileas: 2 burning hands and my illusion spell, Change Self, which may or may not come in handy at some point. Being an illusionist, I'm unable to learn evocation magic, along with conjuration and necromancy. Perhaps I should have gotten together with you two to swap spells, but I was a little busy with my work in town as an apprentice. Next time we're in town, perhaps. Lightmane: yes, let's do that. I say we've got enough spells to keep going. Besides, resting here is just as likely to encounter more goblins as traveling will, most likely. Nightwind: agreed. Let's take 10 minutes or so to catch our breath and a little sustenance, and then let's keep going. The party continued down the west road, through the woods. Eventually, it started to get dark, just as they appeared to be nearing the edge of the forest. They continued further up. Latia: wait, the forest only goes this far? I thought it was much larger. Shinfia: it looks like it heads more southwest from here. Lightmane: yes, but look to your right. The road continued west, out of the forest, but another path went north, and when they looked north, they saw swamplands just up ahead, as the forest also ran on the right side of the swamp. Lightmane: I'm guessing the moat house is this way. It's pretty dark now, so maybe we should make camp somewhere around here, or maybe head up this path a little ways? They started down the path, but it soon became quite murky and wet to walk on. Jack: okay, we're stopping. Let's not go walking through a swamp at night, right? Latia: agreed. Can we find a decent place to make camp? Maybe out of this muck? Latia saw a group of trees off to her left, which appeared to be out of the swamp, so they went there. The ground was dry. The trees offered some cover. Camp was made. Jack: okay, so I've been thinking about this, and I think we need to make sure someone on each watch has superior sight and or hearing, instead of 2 of us humans together. So how about 2 shifts of 4 hours each, and the next day the other 4 of us do the same. So first 2 shifts can be Nightwind and Tenneth, maybe? Second can be Lightmane and myself. That leaves the next shift to be Belfin and Shinfia, and then Latia and Phileas. How's that? Latia: leave it to Practical Jack to work out smart watches. That makes a lot of sense and gets us all a decent amount of sleep, I believe. Jack smiled. Not sure if Practical Jack is the wizard name that I want to be known as, but for now, I'll take it. Shinfia: what about a fire? It's early into the first month of the year, so it can still get pretty cold at night sometimes. The first month in Forestera was the beginning of spring. Forestera was the name of their world, which I may explain in another chapter, if I feel it's necessary. Nightwind: fires draw attention, but if it gets too cold, we should have some firewood available. I'm guessing your burning hand spell will work to light the fire? Phileas: no question. Just wake me if you need me. As they were getting ready to go to sleep, Latia was feeling somewhat nostalgic. Latia: our first night together was in a wood elf camp, way up high in the trees, and now we're spending our first night outdoors together, just out of the forest, right by swamplands. Today was the West Road, tomorrow the moat house that lies in ruins. Let the games begin. Lightmane: games? What games? Latia: I don't know. I just felt like saying that. Doesn't this all kind of feel like a game in some way? Lightmane. I guess. So be it. Tomorrow, let the games begin. Nightwind. And may we be victorious. To this, they all, obviously, agreed. Sheila. Your move. Bale. I know. Give me a minute. Bale looked over the board and finally moved his queen, taking out Sheila's bishop. Sheila. Ooh, nice one. Good move. Bale. Thanks. I think I'm getting better at this game. Sheila moved her queen all the way across the board. Sheila. Checkmate. Bale. Wait, what? How? Wait, how did I not see that? I thought for sure I was safe. How are you so good at this game? Sheila. Did you seriously just ask me that question? You're getting better at it. You just need more practice. So let's play some more. Bale. So your father taught you this game? Did he teach your mother too? Sheila. Of course. We played together for many years after he died. Bale. I'm sorry. Sheila. Don't be. It's fine. I missed him horribly for years, but eventually I got through it. It's what drove me the train so hard. Well, that and eventually losing my mother, of course, which ultimately led to me becoming what I am now. Funny how life works. Bale. Why is it called chess? Sheila. Beats me. I call it Killed the King, she said with a glee in her eye. Although I'm starting to like my new name for this game, she said with her typical sly smile. Bale rolling his eyes. Oh no. And then went into character. Oh, you have a new name? Really? Okay, I'll bite. What is it? Sheila. Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Sheila narrowed her eyes and looked at Bale menacingly. Slaughter the bastard. Bale. Catchy. Will you be teaching all the children how to play? Sheila. Oh, yes. To which the children will ask me, can we cook him and eat him now? Bale, looking at Sheila for a moment. I think I'm going to go throw up now. Sheila just smiled.